I'm sure a lot of accommodation-based businesses particularly were interested in that, and we're having a partnership now with Quality in Tourism, and hopefully a number of you will be showing an interest in that, because we want to take, not only we want to take our quality on the island to the next level, we want to make sure everybody knows we have, and this is a really good way of doing that. Okay, right, now, some of you will know more about this than others, but Visit Isle of Wight is part of a scheme or a process of sustainable transport, and we've been delivering this with the help of the government and some funding that the council originally got some years ago, and have managed to be so successful in delivering the products that they've managed to continue to get some additional help from the government right through till I think 2020. The words "drive less, see more" is much more than a hackneyed slogan. For many, the best thing about a holiday is having a change of pace and a break from the everyday. Visit Isle of Wight is committed to promoting sustainable travel to all our visitors, and as part of a Sustainable Travel Access Fund programme provided by the Department for Transport. So, please welcome our next speaker to tell us where we're at, the Island's Sustainable Travel Coordinator, Zoe Stroud.
Thank you, Simon. Hopefully the comment about we've got more time after the break wasn't aimed at me. I think he knows me a bit too well, but anyway. Yeah, so I'm Zoe Stroud. I work at Visit Isle of Wight. My projects are funded by Department of Transport, which the Isle of Wight Council secure the funding. This behind me is the vision. Basically, my role is to manage all of the projects to encourage visitors to see the island in a different way without their car. So using all of the modes that we have on the island, so walking, cycling, bus travel, train travel. The Access Fund, is, which is the current programme, is actually part of, there's 3 different projects within that. So we're looking after the visitor project. There's also an education project and a business project as well, which is also being managed by other partners. Okay, so why is the Isle of Wight the best place for sort of active travel, sustainable transport? The island's already got a really great existing traffic-free infrastructure. We've got hundreds of miles of off-road, cycle and walking shared paths, which is already in place. The Cows to Newport path, just as an example, 110,000 cycle journeys are made on that route every year, and obviously that's quite a compelling path if you're comparing it to the road and the car journey. So it's a bit of a quicker way to get around. We have excellent already foot passenger links, so lots of people already visit the island without their car, so they're arriving without their car, so we've already got that infrastructure in place, so it's just trying to get them to see what they can do once they arrive on foot. We've got an excellent bus network, one of the best in the UK. We operate 365 days a year, and obviously massive links with all the ferry operators as well. So again, it's a really compelling option, as well as the Island Line as well. So if you're in London, you can come all the way down to Shanklin without your car and buy one all-inclusive ticket, and sometimes get a third off if you've got a Network Rail card. Obviously the island being the size it is, there's lots of short, distant journeys. We say to lots of people, oh, what if I get lost? We say you won't get lost, just keep heading to the coast, and then eventually you'll find your way again. So we're quite lucky that there's short journey time, so it makes a good place for us to encourage sustainable transport. And the island, Visit Isle of Wight, had really good existing partnerships already with the council, with the ferry operators, and with other key business providers, which make us the perfect place to implement these kind of schemes. That green box, which you can't really see, we do lots of survey and monitoring, which I'll touch on a bit later. Some of our survey results, we ask visitors why they like using sustainable travel. Parking is the thing that's come up the most, because most people say they don't have to worry about parking. So that's just a word cloud that we've done with some of the comments that people come out with. And 83% of people we survey say that the Isle of Wight is an easy place to travel around. So again, really sort of good stats there. Okay, so our journey so far, so our work is made possible through partnerships. Our funding comes from Department of Transport. The Isle of Wight Council are only one of 5 local authorities that have been successful in consecutive years of funding. So the funding journey started with LSTF way back in 2013. We had that for a couple of years. Then in 16-17 we had the Sustainable Travel Transitional Year, and now we're in the Access Fund for Sustainable Travel, which will take us through to 2020. So that's pretty impressive that we can get funding for such a long period of time to continue the messages that we're doing and encourage people to, keep promoting and using sustainable travel. The other great thing is it's also opened up other funding streams available to us. So we've got other funding that came in addition to this. We had funding to launch the Red Squirrel e-bikes, £75,000 was awarded for that. We've also launched Co-Wheels Car Club, which was also additional funding. So we're in a good place to get additional funding from DFT. So some of our key outputs and what we've been doing, I've recognised quite a lot of you in the room. So we do business engagement. We launched a scheme called Green Star, where we help you guys promote sustainable travel. So we do the hard work for you. So we create itineraries, journey plans, days out ideas, things that you can put on your website, things that you can send to your guests when they book. We've engaged with 720 businesses on the island through that programme. So that's pretty impressive numbers. Branding and channels, so we work really closely with the Visit Isle of Wight marketing and PR team. I'm always hassling them to make sure there's a drive less see more message on some of the ads that we place across the UK. We do our own branding as well. We're very strong on our Travel Ambassador Facebook and Twitter pages. Just on that, we shared a cycling video last week which has been viewed by 50,000 people. So people are really interested in sort of finding out how they can engage with us in terms of sustainable travel. We do lots of visitor engagement through our Travel Ambassador programme. There's a picture of them there in orange. You hopefully will have seen them. So they're dotted around the island, whether it's at ferry terminals, bus terminals, tourist information points, and they're there to just engage with visitors and just help them with their forward planning. We've got an excellent infrastructure in terms of we work really closely with Island Roads, Rights of Way. So again, we're really across what's happening in terms of the infrastructure on the island. And just to mention, because we talked about it earlier, English Tourism Week starts this Saturday, and on Saturday we're actually doing a Visit Isle of Wight walk-in product with Bob Seeley, our MP. If anyone would like to come, just going to get a plug in. It's with the Ramblers and Bob. It's free and dogs are welcome, so we are going to be pushing that on Saturday. So please come and meet your MP. Okay, so just some of our current projects. Which we're working on at the moment and going forward into the next to 2020. Our tourism business engagement programme, I touched on the Green Star. At the moment we're really focusing on getting people to have those all that literature on your own website, so it's really easy for visitors to find out how they can get to the island. We've improved pages on Visit Isle of Wight in terms of travel pages and that sort of thing. We run familiarisation trips for the industry, so we've taken some of you out on the bus, and last week we went out on the train for the day. So we're just trying to get you engaged with all the sustainable travel on the island so you can really experience it and then sell it on to your customers. We have got tomorrow a sustainable travel training day in Newport. 50 people are coming to that, and that's us educating everyone about what there is to offer in terms of sustainable travel on the island. So we're doing, lots of different things. We're also running a bus pass programme where we have got 60 bus passes that we've put out into various accommodation providers on the island to give your guests free bus travel. So they just go out for a free day on the bus, which we cover the cost for in return for filling in a survey. If you're interested in signing up or finding out about that, come and see me and Nina afterwards and we can give you the details on that. We are running, we've talked earlier about skill sets, very important about the future workforce of tourism on the island, so we run a traineeship and a volunteer scheme. Our traineeship scheme is about us creating capacity within tourism to get young people engaging within tourism and what a great industry it is to work in. So far we've had 61 businesses pledge a place for a trainee, and we've placed 9 trainees into the industry. In your delegate packs there is a pledge form. Please consider having a trainee. They're a great asset to your business, they're fully funded, and you might give something back to the younger generation, so that's great. And we're also running a volunteer programme. Our volunteer programme they're our travel ambassadors, so they're out and about across the island, And this year we've had 53 volunteers complete just under 1,000 hours worth of volunteering. So again, really great. And if you want to volunteer for your business, if you've got an event or you've got something coming up that you're struggling to staff it, talk to me. I've got people ready to go. They've all been trained and they're available for you to use. And our destination walking and cycling project, so my colleague Pete's here, I'm going to hand over to him in a second. So the destination walking and cycling is really a marketing project, so that's about us promoting the island from a walking and cycling point of view. We do lots of nice creative ads in various publications across the UK. We attend the exhibition partnership, we go to 15 shows across the UK, and walking and cycling is normally the number one thing people want to ask about. And we just, lots of fun stuff on social media as well. So it's all about us promoting all of our walking and cycling things as well. And on that, we also, as part of the Destination Cycling Project, we're running a research cycling project, which I'm going to hand over to Pete, who's going to tell you about. Thanks, Pete.
No, hold it. It's much better if you hold on to it, because you can let it out in a minute. Zoe will give you a fantastic opportunity to clap at the end. I'm picking you up here, Zoe. Yeah. So, the Destination Walking and Cycling, the Bicycle Island Research Programme, is based on, I've worked with the Department for Transport for far too long. I'm now pale, male and stale. When I was youthful and enthusiastic, I came to them. And largely the Department for Transport is obsessed with the idea that cycling to work will suddenly magically happen and everybody will start cycling. And they're just beginning to cotton on to the fact that actually most people, their route into cycling is through leisure. And in fact, I don't know whether you know this, this millennium so far, every year, more bikes have been sold than cars. But actually, very few people use their bikes. And the road to cycling, or the road to good intentions, is actually blocked with traffic, and people find it very, very scary. So actually, what we're trying to do is look at the link between people who cycle on holiday and whether they can be induced to cycle a little bit more when they get home. So firstly, a thank you to everybody in the room that's already helped us on this project. This year we put hangers on bicycles. We recruited a whole load of people just in September and October, just to find out, really to run a pilot about how our research methods would work. So thank you for that. We collected participants, and 50% of the participants were in our partner authorities. So we took their email addresses and we liaised with our partner authorities as to whether they could be induced to cycle a bit more. I think the most interesting thing is we found something completely odd, actually. We were looking for new cyclists, and actually we found a massive amount of cyclists who cycle a lot come to the island. I think that's the first thing for you to realise, that you've got a little gem here, and that this is a destination of choice for people that cycle. They like coming here, and they like cycling. Our sample size was older, and I think that probably fits with my experience, probably a lot of your experience, is that actually we start to get worried about our health as we get older, and those of you who are young in the audience, you've got that to worry about later. So we found out that they were incredibly positive about cycling on the island, and when we resurveyed them, we found something else out actually. Unsurprisingly this winter, their leisure cycling went down a little bit, but there was a significant number who did start riding for work a little bit more. And I think that's one of the things we want to look at. We want to look at that link. We also, this year, had some excellent qualitative data, and I'm in the middle with telephone interviews with the people who cycle on the island. And I'm not going to present you lots of facts and figures at this point, but if you want to, there's an interim report that you can look at, and there will be a report at the end of the year. So if you're interested in this work area, hopefully this research this year will at least tell you about the people that cycle a lot that come to the island. So, next year, what are we going to do? So we are going to renew that focus on new novice and lapsed cyclists, and our focus is going to shift. Just hanging hangers on bikes didn't work because it picked up the people that cycle quite a lot. So we're going to focus on destinations and hire points. So we've got a plea out today. Anybody who would like to be involved in this project and work with us to get new people into cycling on holiday, we would like to work with you. We'd like to run events and do all kinds of things. And I think that's kind of interesting, because I think gone are the days where people only go on holiday to sit and look at the view. We know now that people are far more likely to want to be active, and you could be part of a memorable experience that actually becomes the gateway towards those good intentions. You know, somebody who hires a bike on holiday on the island next year could be getting all of that exercise that they wish they had. And I imagine there's probably a several number of people in the room that wish they had a little bit more exercise in their life. So we want to work with you on that. Come and talk to Zoe. Well, talk to Zoe. You might get a word in edgeways, you know what she's like. You can talk to me if you want. And I've just got a graph there that shows how much people agree with the feeling that they enjoyed it, they felt safe, they were inspired, and they think the Isle of Wight is good for cycling. So Zoe, don't forget, I want to give you a big round of applause at the end of this. No clapping now.
If you go to visit Wight Pro, just on the note of this, all the report Pete mentioned, it's all on there under the sustainable travel pages, so you can have a little look at, you know, the report and where we're at with that. So in terms of, this is my last slide, you'll be pleased to know, in terms of measuring success, obviously, as comes with any government money, you know, you can't just go and do it and that's that. We have to have very strict targets. So these are our targets in the Access Fund for visitor journeys. So by March 2020, we need to reduce car trips by 604,000 on the island. In our first year, the figure was just under 200,000 car trips reduced, and those 200,000 car trips obviously shifted onto a different mode of transport. So we're doing quite well actually, and it's quite easy how to sort of demonstrate how easy it is to get people to think about how they see the Isle of Wight and how they can see it in a different way. You can see the figures there. We need to increase bus passenger, cycling and walking trips. In terms of how we monitor, we have quite strict monitoring and valuation people that do all of our figures for us. We do lots of visitor surveys. We do a business survey twice a year. We do lots of project surveys, so we're really hot on this sort of review and the capturing of the data. We also, with our ferry survey, we added in an additional question about secondary mode of transport. Originally, we always said, what's your main mode of transport? And most people put car, but we understand that actually that could be your main mode, but while you're on the island, you might do some other stuff while you're there. So we've added that in as well, and we'll get some data on that, which we can share at some point. And we've also got traffic counters across the island, so when we say, oh, we've lowered car trips by 200,000, it's not just made up, it's quite scientific. So really, we'd love you to get involved. You know, we can help you plan journey itineraries for your visitors. We've got loads of new walking and cycling routes on the website that you can use on your own channels. We can give you free bus passes for your guests, and some of the people that have been involved with that have had really positive TripAdvisor reviews, so that helps that way. Just come and talk to us, come and see how you can get involved, and we'll look forward to working with you in the next year. Thank you.
That's one element that does work.